Hi everybody, welcome back once again to this week's My Weekly Raje Fix. I hope you all had a great week. I'd like to dedicate this week's fix to my dear sister Shifi, who had her first child, a baby girl, so mazel tov to her. This week's Parsha, Parshas Tzav, the Torah continues the different laws that were given to Aaron, the high priest, and to his children regarding the different sacrifices. And the Torah says that Hashem said to Moses, saying, command Aaron and his children regarding the burnt offering. And the question is, why does the Torah say tzav, command? Usually the Torah uses the language of speak to or teach. What's over here? Why over here does it say command? So Rashi tells us something interesting, that when it comes to a monetary loss, you have to have even more special awareness and be even more careful with it, and therefore it's an added layer to the prohibition, not only just to do it, but to be very careful with it monetarily. So what we're learning over here is something quite interesting, actually, that because on the one hand we have permission to go ahead and burn this entire offering, on the other hand we have to be careful with it. The two ideas seem to contradict. So one of the answers is that I'd like to share with you, that it depends who's giving you the mitzvah to do. When Hashem gives you the mitzvah to do, so then you're allowed to burn the entire thing, while at the same time always trying to be careful with your money. For example, when it comes to Passover, right before Passover, we have a mitzvah the night before to go and burn any leftover chametz that we have. Now normally we have to be very careful with the food. You're not allowed to waste food, you're not allowed to destroy food, but the answer is that right now there's a special mitzvah to get rid of any leavened items that you have in your house, and if a person still has some left on the morning of Passover Eve, so then therefore there's a mitzvah to go ahead and burn it. So generally you have to be very careful, but now Hashem is giving you a commandment, you have to get rid of it. So too with the sacrifice. Hashem said normally you have to burn sacrifice, but at the same time, keep in mind, you always have, in general, have to be very careful with money. Second of all, that the idea is that when it comes to money itself, even when it comes to doing a mitzvah, Hashem says you have to be very careful. And money is very, very important. Not very important in the sense that it's the be-all, end-all, but as an example, imagine if you got invited up to an incredibly wealthy person's house, up to his penthouse, this multi-trillionaire, and he invites you as a guest, and as he's talking to you, he takes a package of coins, of quarters, out of his pocket, and as he's talking to you, he's taking quarter by quarter and just chucking them from the roof down below. What are you going to think? Are you going to think, hey, he's so rich, of course he does it? Or are you going to go, what's wrong with you? You're throwing quarters. So he'll say, yeah, but I'm a multi-trillionaire. And you say, it doesn't matter. Money has value. Hopefully that's where you'll respond. And the answer is you'd be correct. You respond to that. No matter how much money he has, the fact that money is valuable should not go lost even on the trillionaire. And so therefore, Rashi is teaching us, that the Torah is teaching us, that even though we're about to burn up an entire animal, but still, tzav, command him regarding this, and command him that even when it comes to burning an animal, a person should be very careful about any financial loss. And we shouldn't just think that anything can be done in any way possible, but rather we always have to, even when we're in the middle of doing a mitzvah, always have to try to also have that second half of us that is always sensitive towards monetary issues, and that is a big responsibility of all of us when we have money. If Hashem gave us something, He gave us a gift, and He entrusted us with that gift, and therefore we have to treat it responsibly. We can't say it's mine, I'm allowed to do whatever I want with it. If a person can afford a new car, and then he decides he just wants to see what it's like to ram it into a tree and ruin it, no, you're not allowed to do that. You have to be very careful, especially it's mine. So therefore, that's this idea that even when it comes to something that's being completely destroyed, completely burnt, tzav, you have to have that command to it, towards it, and always make sure to be careful with it. Have a great Shabbos, everybody. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.